And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Factorio, where I think memory serves, I was in the middle of contemplating upgrading the gear production. And now as I look at it, I probably don't really have enough space here. So I'm going over the math in my head. Actually, probably have the space, but I'll have to redesign it a little bit. That'll be fine. It's easy to fix. If it's gonna take the space, I think it's gonna take it. We'll redirect around like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it so that gear production is enough to make one belt out, which hopefully early on will be excessive because one belt out of gears is technically two belts in of iron. So what will likely very rapidly happen is we'll consume more iron if we're using the gears of that right than we actually produce. At least that we actually produce and direct to the gears. Let's get started trying to contemplate how we're going to fit this. Production-wise, here, let's bring up the gear recipe very quickly. So gears, by default, take in 2 iron plates and output 1 gear. So a belt, a yellow belt by default, is 15 items a side. So technically, we could use 1 belt, because it's got 15 on a side, to make 15 iron gear wheels for output. Because you take two off, 1 from each side, and that'll make your output. Now, 15 outputs, right? You could go like, okay, math-wise, so that's like, if the production recipe has a throughput of 1, then that would be 15 machines. Well, the recipe has an output of a half a second, so it's actually 7.5 machines. But that's 7.5 if the machine that we're working with has a crafting speed of 1. And assembly machine 1s actually have a crafting speed of a half. And the ones we're going to be using are actually crafting speed of 0.75. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make 10 machines, because we need about 33% more production to fill the belt up, which just happens to be 33% more of 0.75 is 1, is how that works out. Right? So we're going to build 10 machines instead of 7.5 per side. So we'll do like 1. I'm going to have to move the power pole, which we should probably do sooner rather than later. Okay, the power pole density is going to be a little high, but that'll be fine. We'll work that out. And then these ones are going to be exactly where I need my iron belt to come through. Hopefully I didn't deconnect the entire power supply. Yeah, it looks like there's probably a way around. Stuff are working on both sides of the thing, so it's probably fine that those ones are missing. Okay, and then for these, we want to do a bunch of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's why I started rerouting that belt, because we're going to need that space back. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Obviously, we'll have iron coming in to feed that. That might actually be enough power poles to make it work. Yeah, that should probably be enough to make it work. In which case, it's 2 inputs to 1 output, so probably 2 input yellow belt or yellow inserters is more than enough, like way more than enough. But we'll overkill it. Overkill is better than underkill most of the time. Another change I'm going to do is this is going to eat the full output. So output priority right. Output priority right. So what'll end up coming through here is take the whole thing off. The right belt will get replaced with the left belt, and we'll do the same down here. Everything off. Anything that's bypassed will go through. And at some point I'll have to update the secondary lanes up here. Do I have space for my splitting array here? No, I didn't leave myself enough proper space for a proper splitter combiner. That's a whoops. It wouldn't be that hard to fix, I think. Yeah, it wouldn't be that hard to fix. Let me just move everything up a bit. Not gonna do that right now. Waiting for the power poles to come in for that side. And then that's what these are. So with those in, that should provide production. So for the moment, we don't need the other side. The outdated side can get cleaned up. Hopefully that doesn't get darker anywhere either. Yeah, looks like that's going to work as well. And yeah, this production should hopefully overkill gear production, and hopefully won't be needed for quite a while, because at the moment this will consume, like, all the iron we're making, so that'll be a problem if it actually starts running at full speed. So we're going to have to try to build up iron behind this to make sure that this keeps working right. Another thing I probably should do... Well, I would say should do. Well, actually, no, I've already done it. Done it. It's been done. I was going to say we should toss more efficiency modules in the electric furnaces. And the electric furnaces already have them. Past me, data smart. Though that is something that current me should do on these, is we should fill these up with efficiency modules to save on power requirements. Because as we grow the base, the power requirements are going to go up, and at some point I will have to expand power production in some way just to meet the power requirements. But for the moment, let's try to postpone that as long as possible. Okay, before the science runs out, let's look the science back up again. Yeah, so that should, when those get delivered, that should provide, well, even before this gets delivered, that should provide more than enough gears. We should be overflowing with gears. And if we're not, then all the iron's going to disappear very quickly, because this consumes iron like there is no tomorrow. Oh, that stream isn't even needed. Back that up, please. At some point, I'll come back and do the same with green circuits. But that is not right now. Now I'm going to do... Actually, this is dropped back into my own inventory space. I have access to new chests. Active provider, buffer, and requester chest. So let's... I'm thinking I'm going to want a couple of requester chests. We're going to put a couple of requester chests in for very specific things. So let me dump a couple of these in the network so that these work. Okay, go back to building things with bots now that we've made those behind. So the next row of stuff I'm going to make, we've been going through and making things one by one in the new bot mole, basically, right? So in the new bot mole, the next row that I'm going to make is our power poles. Basically, the 3 power poles, I'm going to hold off and build substations. substations are going to be very similar to the blue and the green, where they require advanced circuits, and that's a bigger throughput problem than I'm mentally capable of dealing with right this moment. We're gonna kick that can on the road. That can will be revisited, but the can has been kicked for the moment. So to make this work, I'm probably gonna want the basic ones, and this is why I've prepared the requester chests. Is you'll notice one thing is not on the belt. Wood is not on the belt. So we're gonna have wood, which the bots are making, brought to the brought to the assembly that's going to make the electric power poles, the basic electric power poles. Whereas the other ones can make their own, can have iron sticks inserted in steel plates brought in pretty easily. The next question is, how do I want to do my wiring? So 1 becomes 2 every half a second. So each of these are going to want their own assembling machine for the copper. Oh, I suppose I can do something like that. We can actually do long inserters to grab the steel, because you're going to want steel, you're going to want steel. Okay, it'll get a little complicated if I do that. Never mind. Let's not do that. Because I just realized I'm also going to have to bring in iron, so let's leave space for that. So we need electrical. We need one space between that and the thing that will make an assembling machine. Let's put these, one extra spot apart from each other. And then we need one to bring in the iron sticks. So, iron stick production, you need iron sticks. How many do we need? Hopefully it's... Oh, so it's 4. So you need 2 iron stick inserters. Okay, that's going to be a little bit more complicated. And you're 8. So there's going to be a point where this is just going to get space massive. That's what it looks like. Okay. I didn't think too far ahead. So pack those ones up. We'll pack you up. You're going to want something like that and that. And then the next one's just going to be real complication. Okay, this is still going to work. It's going to be a little bit of a mess. Wait, no, we want to take off for that one, not drop off. And then we want to do a drop and a drop, because that's going to be our passive inviters. We're going to have like a passive... Oh, we didn't leave quite enough space, but it'll work. Make it work. Passive inviter. Requester chest. Okay, so we presumably don't need a lot of power poles at any given time. So let's only prep 1 stack of these. The exception that I'm going to do is the wooden ones. The wooden ones I'm going to make a pile of, because I use a lot of wooden ones. At some point I should move away to using non-wooden. But for the moment we're using wooden. Okay, one last check to make sure all the ratios are right. So it's 2, 4, 2. Of course that one has to be the complicating factor. Okay, still easy to fix, just less easy. Okay, 584. That'll work. And you're 242. Okay. So this will be the iron coming in on this belt. This will be the, or no, that'll be the steel coming in. This will be the iron. And then this will be the copper. So now they get all that belted in. And that's the steel. So, I'm going to do you, and you should come down perfectly fine. So, splitter you off, splitter you off. And now just put some power poles in here, which I'm going to be lazy. Oh, I also need to put some inserters in here as well, but I'll be lazy. Just use basically the default small ones, because they'll work for this. Oops, and I put some bolts the wrong way. Easy to fix. There's a rotate them around. There goes in the copper. Steel needs just that last little bit. And then we just need to get the power fed properly in. So that shouldn't take too long. Okay, robots should be on the way to deliver last of the components. Let's dump a bunch of wood into the network. No, they still haven't delivered the power plant, that's fine. And then blueprint-wise, where is... There you are. Dump one of you like so. Dump one of you like so. Dump one of you like so. So now we've got a bunch of construction robots that have a bunch of tasks. But this is now working. One thing I am missing here, and I have not yet told it to do, is request The wood. So that you have your wood. So there should be a bunch of logistic bots delivering wood. Or construction robots delivering wood, depending upon how the logistic network handles that request. So with that, we should now have automated all the power poles. Why aren't you running? Forgot and inserter. You know what? That on the blue. Yes, now we should have all the power poles running. And then it'll be time to start contemplating what to do next. Probably start contemplating building a train station so that we have trains to supply our ever-increasing iron and steel needs and copper needs and other needs. Because I'm already thinking, well, that's 2 belts of iron. That'll be like another belt of iron, so that's 3 belts of iron. We're going to need a belt of iron for everything else. And how many belts of iron we have? We have 1. 2. 2. We have 2 belts of iron. So we don't have enough iron. We're going to run out of iron. If I actually really crank production going, we are not going to have enough iron. So I need to get expanding more iron production. This is not iron production, but I'm realizing that at some point I probably also want to expand the coal supply I'm using to power the entire base. So sooner rather than later with that is probably a good way to go. That's not full, but it's mostly full. And the logistic bots will handle it at some point. What are we short on? We're short on batteries. Where are we short on batteries? They're moving. And we're just short on them because we don't make enough is what's happening. Okay. That is a acceptable reason for why it's not working very well. It's not a happy reason for why it's not working very well, but it's an acceptable reason. We'll get to that. We will get to that. But yeah, train station. Back to train station concepts. So at some point, I'm going to want a train station. Trying to contemplate what this equates to in movement. So it moves 2 things, just short of 360. So 360 would be 1 delivery, 1 drop-off per second. So it's a little under 1 per second, which complicates the math there. I suppose it may actually work out to something like 1 per second, because it maybe doesn't need to do the full rotation all the time. What do I want? We'll want fluid wagons at some point. Develop fluid wagons. We'll probably want exoskeleton at some point. Energy shield's more power requirements than realistically I got, so we'll hold off on that. Suppose I could start trying to go into uranium mining, but that's probably overkill. Like a power armor. British shotgun. And then we'll have it do 1 pass on the laser turrets. And by then, hopefully I'll have an idea of what I want to do. So yeah, so back to trains for the moment. Let's try to finish up a hypothetical train station uh, before the episode ends here. So let's clear some space, cut down the forest to make way for a train station. So yeah, so it's not quite... I could probably do a bit denser of math on that and figure out if that's going to be enough. The red ones run faster, the blue ones run even faster. Second considered the speed of the blue ones, but I don't actually have production of those yet. It's only a doubling, right? So 360. So that's going to be at least two times two, so it's going to be at least 4. Might be more than 4 actually. Yeah. So then that also gets complicated with the fact that we want 15 per belt. Trying to do mental math in my head to figure out how many inserters. This is probably a solved conundrum on the wiki. So if you're smarter than me, you'd look at the wiki. Whereas I'm trying to overthink it. I'm trying to think of how many I need to unload a train car and fill up a belt. Presumably using both sides of the train car. So we're going to have something like a train. Comes rolling into station. Some of this stuff is not going to be in network yet. I'm going to make it myself. So I think the stuff goes on the right side of the train. So we're going to have like a train that comes in. Can't drop a train on tracks that don't exist. Okay. We'll come back to that then. But yeah, so we're going to have inserters. And it's probably one of those where it's actually easier to do this after the track is delivered. We're not having complaints about there being no track, so someone is probably hauling track up there. Just am I patient enough for the track to arrive? Not really. But I need to be patient. Okay, here comes the track. So now I should be able to drop the ghost train. There we go. The train goes like something like that, with a couple cars behind it. That'll give us some idea where we want to line stuff up. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times, let's say 2. 2's an undercount, but let's say 2. That would be 12, so that wouldn't be enough. Blue would more than double it. So 12, 24. 24 would be more than enough, right? So, sorry, didn't want to tick off in your ear there. We do something like blues. That would actually, in theory, be enough to support a red belt. Worth out of each car. Oops, not that one. And then, obviously, oops. This is going to be being dropped into chests for temporary storage to buffer a little bit. And then from that, I can get plucked out to put onto the belt. It might look something like that. So that would say hypothetically provide 2 belts worth of stuff. This is going to be one scenario where we're going to want bigger power poles necessarily to power it. I may want even bigger power poles. Bigger coverage area. Oh, that one will actually be a fun problem. Okay. Oh, I can make this work. This is easy to work. then when we do the thing, that should clear that gap, yes. Why is it clearing on one side and not on the other? Ah, because I can put the power pole one closer to the track on one side. Okay. Anyway, in which case that would work as a train station. We're missing some parts. We're missing the station. We're missing the train. Let's go ahead and make those, because I should be able to make those pretty easily. Train might be a little harder, and it doesn't need to be double hard. Actually, let's, before I have the bots deliver the wrong train head. It only needs one train head. We don't need to be lazy and only have one end. We can have one end. Well, I don't need to be lazy and have two ends. It only needs one end. So we only need one engine. You're just iron plate, so we just pick up some iron plate. And the rail stop is basically iron again. Okay. Need one of you, need two of you. We're probably going to need some rail signals as well. And maybe even some some chain signals as well. So let's dump a bunch of that into the network. And then the bots will handle pickup delivery for me. Drop that off, drop that off, drop that off. Drop, 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 drop. Oh, and one thing we don't have in the network is I don't have steel. Don't have any steel chests. So we'll have to make a bunch of steel chests. So let's dump steel chests in. They'll handle that delivery. And then in theory, in a moment, we should have a properly set up train location. One thing I should set up for the train location, let's set up it now, and this is one of the scenarios where we're going to want to use a requester chest, is presumably we're going to want the train to get filled up with fuel. This is also a scenario where I want a provider chest. And you know, we have a lot of rocket fuel. So we're going to use rocket fuel for this. Is it an optimal thing to use for this? Probably not. So we're going to fill the train up with rocket fuel. We're going to have a rocket-powered train. And once it gets... To be fair, this is a provider chest, so it doesn't need an input. It just needs to be told that it's only getting what it's getting asked to get. Which is one stack of rocket fuel. So what, that'll be 2,000 megajoules. Versus a stack of solid, which would be only 600? Yeah, 600 megajoules. So, rocket fuel is denser per stack. And I think the storage on the train is stack limited. Yeah, it'll hold 3 stacks. So 3 stacks of rocket fuel will be a decent source of rocket fuel. Okay, so that should hook it up to the power grid, so it should all power up. And then at some point, we'll have to actually build some train stations for the train to go pick up stuff from. And probably build station, right? So this is one line, this is one station. This will drop off basically, if I did the math right. This will drop off like 2 lanes of iron or copper or something like that. In practice, we're probably going to have it drop off iron first, which means that will be the iron station. We'll have to make more stations. You know what? I forgot to put in the network. I missed putting my cargo wagons in the network, so the cargo wagons aren't being delivered. You're out of logistic network. You are out of logistic network. Let's try to fix that. And of course, that's not gonna work because we haven't cleared all the trees. Okay, so once that's delivered, this will be networked. This will give us some coal. I'll probably try to order some. Okay, this should be on delivery with that. Oh, and we don't have a passive provider chest. Let's throw a passive provider chest in the network. And the passive provider chest will then provide the rocket fuel. Oh, we don't have the... hand make more of those, because we're hand making every drone hub right now. Where's the drone hubs? Trying to remember where they are. They're in here somewhere. There they are. What we're missing is we're missing a bunch of steel. Okay, so that should be enough steel, but we're short on gears as well, which should be an easy fix because we've upgraded gears and we're short on red. Slap a bunch of those in the queue. That should get that fixed. Lickety split. Bot already over to come pick it up. And then at some point in fact, actually, this is something I'll come up and do right now. Let's make sure this thing works. The best way to make sure this thing works is to move it and then tell it to go to the station. So yoink some rocket fuel to shove it in. So we got a little bit of fuel for the first little train ride. We'll back it up a bit and then tell it to go to the station. And that's a way to check alignment. If I screwed alignment up because the engine isn't aligned with the station, then it will be easy to fix. Just by moving the pickup drop-off a little bit. So we back up the train and screw up because I park it in the one spot where the inserters take all the fuel out of the train. That wasn't intended. Okay, before it dumps all the fuel back again, let's move it. Oh, because I have the network turned on. You have some fuel left in you. Okay, now you have some. Fuel left in you. Okay. So we're gonna add a schedule. Add Dr. Horrible. We're gonna tell you to just go straight to it right now. Okay. So that is the alignment on Dr. Horrible. So I did screw up. Everything is shifted one the wrong way. Well, that is easy to fix. We just copy everything into blueprints. We do a quick tear everything down order. And then we do a quick put everything back in the new spot, which is just a couple hexes to the right. Like so. And of course, they ran with all the parts, so they gotta go drop them off to pick them up to bring them back, but that'll work out. If anything, that is looking the time, a good place to put the cut in. So if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you've been enjoying it. There probably will be another part of tomorrow, because we'll try to record one part tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around for the short break. Basically, I'm going to take a quick stretch, and then I'm going to get right back to it. And, yep, so until the next part, hope you all enjoy it, or hope you all have a good time in your real life. And I think probably over the break here, I'll probably leave Twitch watching this get assembled. But I'm going to take a quick stretch, catch you all in the next part, and bye for now if you're watching YouTube. Catch you all later.